Hello everyone, welcome Stage 2 at Digital DNA. Thanks for joining me. So today I'm going to be speaking about growth techniques and growing a two-sided marketplace during the pandemic. I'm Stevie McIntyre, I'm from Locum and I'm the marketing lead. So a little bit about me before I get started. I've got 7 years B2B experience, 5 years B2C marketing experience, and that's mainly within community and events. And I was saying earlier that that's kind of like the perfect storm for the marketing role at Locum. Let me just see if I can get this got off. Oh no, disaster. Okay, yep. So what am I going to go through today and what am I going to talk through? Hopefully this is useful. 15 minutes isn't a very long time to cover such a complex subject, so hopefully I can squeeze some absolute golden nuggets out of this. So firstly, I'm going to go through the background here, Locum. Then I'm going to talk about what is a two-sided marketplace and what are the challenges. And then I'm going to give you 6 growth techniques you can take away today on a two-sided marketplace or any marketing organization, really. And then we're going to look at a feature that we launched and the impact, the tangible metrics that feature had. And then I'm going to give you 3 tools you should be using for growth if you're in a marketplace business. So without further ado, I'll just get going. So who are Locum? Oh no, it's cut off a little bit. Who are Locum and what do we do? So Locum is like Uber for healthcare organizations. Our mission is to mobilize the world's healthcare workplace. And how we do that is by getting the right person in the right place at the right time. So to put that simply, we pair temporary healthcare workers with temporary healthcare shifts, which you can imagine we've been pretty busy in the last year or two. So we now have over 16,000 healthcare workers signed up to our platform, and 8,000 people, 8,000 healthcare organizations use our platform almost on a daily basis, and they rely on our services. So I did have a little video here, which my slides are slightly cutting off, which is annoying. I did have a little video here, which was going to show the app in action, but it's not actually playing on here, which is great. That's not my hand, by the way. I gave up my hand modeling for one of the guys in the team who had better nails. So that's the app. It's all app-based technology. Our technology is what facilitates our service. So what you can do is you can log onto the app, you can put in your location, and you can find a shift that suits you if you're a healthcare professional. So what is a two-sided marketplace? Well, it has 2 sides, given the name. The name gives it away slightly, but it's a different way that a company operates. Traditionally, an organization will make a product or service and sell it to their customers. But with two-sided marketplaces, demand comes from one side and supply comes from the other. So an example of this operating model, we've got some examples here. So the most familiar ones are Airbnb, Uber, and these are ones that everyone's familiar with. So how this model works, it's something that's transacted between these 2 sides. So Airbnb, it's spaces or homes. Uber, it's taxi rides. And Eventbrite, it's events. Locum, it's healthcare shifts. So that's, in a nutshell, what a two-sided marketplace is. There's challenges that come with a two-sided marketplace. Again, my slide is slightly... Hopefully you can see that a little better. So there's challenges that come with it as a two-sided marketplace. These are the 3 main challenges. So creating supply. Whenever you firstly start a marketplace business, it's hard to know what comes first. Do you create the demand first or do you create the supply first? There's the chicken and the egg challenge. What comes first? And there's a real-world example of this currently. So the HGV drivers, there is huge demand for HGV drivers in the UK, but there's currently no supply. So this has been catapulted because of a problem. But sometimes you can create that supply through different growth techniques, which hopefully I'm going to go through. If there's any companies who are dealing with HGV drivers, you might find this useful currently. And then the third challenge is really scaling and retention. Like, how do you get people using your product or your platform again and again? So what I'm going to do now is hopefully take you guys through 6 techniques that we have seen work for us at Locum. So, growth techniques. Number 1, add value to the users, which is a supply. So why us and not our competitors? So what we did at Locum to create repeat usage is make the product sticky. we make people need to come back to the product. How we do that is we create features and functionality that the people have to integrate into their daily life or their working life. So what we do is we have a diary function on our app. It's not the core feature of the app. The core feature is getting the shifts, but if they manage their diary and the rest of their workload on the app, it means they'll keep coming back, and it's very sticky. We also have community, so incentive-based community. So the more shifts you apply for, or the more shifts you work, you get rewarded by an incentive. And one of our most recent things that we launched was some learning. So we're not in the business of getting people in to do a temporary shift and never really talk to them again, not get them come back. So we want them to manage their careers through Locum and upskill through Locum. Sorry, that's very often. So adding value is number one. Number two is harnessing data. Which is great. I don't know what's happening here. Yeah, someone else has done it. So number two is harnessing data. What data do you collect, and how is it unique to your organization? When scaling marketplace business, someone else is doing that. When scaling a marketplace business, sorry about this, technical issues. It's just popping. It's just on the stick, I think. I don't think I put it on the thing. Okay, yeah, that looks okay. Yeah, sorry about that. Technical issues. Great. Great for me. Yeah, so number two is harnessing data. So what data does your organization collect that is unique to it? So the thing here is, like, people collect data and they don't even realize how valuable it is to consumers or to people who potentially could use it from the demand side of the business. So, for example, Locum has posted over 1 million temporary healthcare worker shifts on our app, and with that comes a huge amount of data. Like, we know the location of the healthcare shifts, the majority of the UK. We know whether supply is high and the demand is low, and vice versa. So what we did at Locum is we used this data and we created a rates study that was used by employers and by the locums in order to understand the market rate sweet spot for their region. So what this allowed the locums to do is to go in and apply for a shift at a rate that was right for that region and not pitch too high whenever they were negotiating the rate. And what it allowed employers to do was post rates at the perfect market rate sweet spot. So it meant that they weren't paying too much for locums, and they weren't putting their shifts out at so little that they didn't get any applications, and ultimately it would have been a waste of time. So that bit of data really was something that we collected as part of our platform, but also something that we could utilize in our marketing and our growth. And number three is referrals. So this is massively underutilized just across the board in marketing in any organization, I think. So we had a bit of an aha moment where we noticed that if someone was referred, they were 4 times more likely to work through our platform. And also, whenever they were referred and then their profile was approved, they also did on average 3 more shifts a month than someone who wasn't referred or came from other traffic sources. So referrals and paid referrals, they work every time. So number 4, automate. This seems simple, but in terms of lead gen by region, using a platform on LinkedIn, which I'm going to get into a little bit more, automation is king. It allows you to be agile. It allows you to change messaging pretty quickly, and also allows you to work within constraints, which is really important in marketplace businesses. So by constraints, I mean, if you're starting a marketplace business, start in a small region. Use automated software to allow you to segment by that region and by job roles that you're going after almost immediately. So that will be one thing. Automate your retention. So automate onboarding and comms, and also community. Onboarding is so important. I'm going to move on this in a second, but the onboarding can help take the friction out of signups. Also, the next one, number 5, is be feature driven. So what I mean by this is, I put NPS here because this is a way for you to be feature-driven. So do a Net Promoter Score survey and ask for tangible feedback on your service or your platform. So what happened in our organization is we asked for feedback on our platform, and people kept saying it would be amazing to be able to go onto your app and negotiate through a button without having to phone up you guys, and you then go to the coordinator and taking loads of admin time. So what we did was we built the ability to negotiate a rate with a click of a button through our app. And what happened was, I've got some stats on this actually coming up on the next slide. So I'll just skip on from that one. So the main thing is here is when you do a Net Promoter Score or a survey, is get the feedback, look through the feedback, and look at feedback that has a tangible link to metrics that your organization is going towards. So sometimes you get feedback that's suggesting like, oh, you should have a like button, and it's not going to have any impact on your organization. So forget about that. Look through and think what's going to have a link to the data that we're trying to go after. Number 6, and last but not least, is to remove friction. So make it as easy as possible for people to use your app or your platform. So what we did as an example for Locum is we really identified that it was taking people on average 6 weeks from sign up to getting approved and their profile ready to work. As you can imagine, in healthcare, there's a lot of compliance that you need to follow. So they needed to have different checks, like a police check, and they had a photographic ID. So what we did was we said, well, if someone signs up, we can smooth this process out by offering them a free police check, and then we would refund them whenever they work their first shift. So we implemented this, and we've seen huge growth in sign up to approved ratio, which meant they would also apply. So it might not be really obvious, but just go through the process yourself and look at onboarding and think, what's hard about this process? What can I change quickly that's going to make it a little bit easier for people signing up? So this was supposed to play a little video, but obviously loads of technical difficulties today, so it's not quite going to work. So this is our rate negotiation feature, and this came from the NPS. I think I mentioned there that a lot of people were calling for this for about 6 months, and we were like, this is going to be quite difficult to implement. I don't know if it'll have that much of an impact. So we eventually put it out. And this was an example of a feature that has a real impact on metrics and real impact on customer experience. Not only just in our industry, across the healthcare industry, we were actually nominated for an award because this had innovated the healthcare industry, and it was cutting down admin time when people just didn't have time to be picking up the phone. They wanted to be working, they wanted to be helping out during the pandemic. So the actual tangible impact of this was applications for temporary shifts grew by 20% for us through this. So as soon as we implemented this on shifts, it really stopped all that telephone ping pong between people phoning and trying to negotiate a shift and going back, and our company, our organization being the middleman. So that was a really good one from an NPS survey that came out, and we listened to our customers. We looked at what had an impact on data, and then it really did. The results proved it itself. So what's next? So growth. So here, what I'm showing you is obviously the growth that we've had since September last year, and this is where we are today. So the reason I'm showing you this is because in marketing, and especially in marketplace businesses, I think personally it's so important to identify a North Star metric, a metric that has a tangible link to the bottom line of your organization. So in marketing, I hate vanity metrics. I hate whenever people are saying, oh, let's get more engagement and more likes on our Facebook, because in reality, like, what does that do to the bottom line of the business? If they can, that's okay if someone can say, oh, more likes equals more purchases, more sign-ups, that's okay. But actually having a North Star metric that has a tangible impact should be number one, and it should dictate everything you do in your organization. So the reason I'm showing that is just to say, like, have something that feeds into the overarching goal. What ours is applications for shifts. We know if we get X applications, we can maintain a 65-70% conversion rate, which equals bookings, which equals us getting paid for the services. So as promised, I said I would give 3 tools that you could take away today that could help not only a marketplace business, but just anyone in marketing could use these. So Prospect Labs, number 1, it's a LinkedIn automation tool. It identifies audiences by regions and allows you to set up sequences. So if you're working in a geographic region, this will allow you to segment by that geographic region. Really strong. We've used it for signing up optometrists, pharmacists, and care home workers, as well as care home organizations, pharmacies, and opticians. So we use it across the board. Really strong tool. I also have a discount link, so anyone wants a discount, let me know afterwards. I can set you up with that. GrowSurf, it is a referral platform, so it tracks referrals and tracks the incentives that you offer referrals, and it creates a little league table for people who do refer. And one thing about referrals is, I didn't mention before, so when you're doing referrals, look for your A-star people who use your app and ask them to refer, because A-star people refer A-star people. And that's a known fact. So GrowSurf, unbelievable platform, manages all this, means you don't have to hunt through payment details, means you don't have to track when someone's referred and when they've worked, all this sort of thing. Cervicate or Net Promoter, it's another tool. So there's loads of NPS tools around that you could use, but these two are different because they link with your CRM system. So you can assign an NPS score to a specific contact. And what this allows you to do is improve and see the improvement. So you can segment them by their score. And then whenever you're doing campaigns, you can try to improve that score by communicating to them. So this is a really strong one, and a really strong one for sort of getting good feedback, understanding who your power users are and who to target for referrals, and also understanding who's just not happy and who you need to work on. And this is a shameless plug. We're hiring at the minute for 2 marketing roles. So if anyone wants to come and join my team, they can. If you know anyone in the audience know anyone, let me know. It's a competitive market out there, so I had to get this in here. So yeah, shameless plug, 2 marketing roles live on the website. And that is it. Slightly over time, but technical issues, so let me off. If anyone's got any questions, let me know, or you can contact me on LinkedIn. So yeah, thank you very much. Thanks. I'm good. No, I asked him. Go ahead. A little bit of both, to be honest. So we make our revenue from the healthcare organisations. So they pay us a one-off fee per shift that someone's placed in. So they pay us, but we're at this tricky point where we need to keep both of the sides happy. So we provide all the benefits for the locums and the healthcare workers, but also we provide a lot of value for the healthcare organisations who use our platform. So a bit of both, but the person who pay us is the healthcare organisations.
And just as a follow-up, did you have any problems like with your rate negotiation tool? Were the healthcare organisations maybe annoyed about that because then you're giving the ability to the customer to kind of...
Yeah. So a little bit. There was a little bit of friction there where the healthcare organisations were like, you're pushing the rate up, but actually it's like it's all dictated on supply and demand. So if someone pitches at a rate, they feel that that rate is correct for the shift that they're going to do and their skills. But also, we sort of counteracted it by doing the rate study. So we told the organisations what the market rate sweet spot was for their region, and then that allowed them to post that, the sweet spot. So anything over that, that wouldn't be quite at the sweet spot, and anything under that would be. There's also a lot of factors that influence the rate, and we made sure that the healthcare organisations were aware of that, like time of day, the holiday days, various things. So yeah, there was a little bit, but we got over it by sort of adding value to them and showing them that this was actually going to benefit them by reducing admin time as well. No worries. Okay, is that everything? Cheers, thank you very much for your time. Cheers, appreciate you coming.